Now, I'm not going to waste your time and I'll cut straight to the point. Texas, the Lone Star State, where people still chase acreage, sunshine, and the idea that you can always build one more bedroom, has been hit hard. And when I say hit, I mean financially and physically. Right now in 2025, something's broken, catastrophically broken. There are towns in Texas where you can buy a house for less than a new pickup. Not a mobile home, not a teardown, an actual house, and nobody's buying. But why? The numbers don't whisper, they shout. In pockets across the Panhandle, the Gulf Coast, and the border, list prices keep falling, days on market keep rising, and sellers keep throwing in appliances just to get someone, anyone, to close. These aren't typos on Zillow. These aren't scams. These are real homes in real towns where real people once paid real money, small fortunes in fact, to live the Texas dream. Now, many can't even give them away. Meanwhile, Austin bungalows still sell for seven figures. Dallas keeps building luxury towers. Houston cranks up master plan suburbs by the mile. But drive an hour or two in any direction, and you'll find something that shouldn't exist in America's growth capital. Neighborhoods where for sale signs outnumber mailboxes. Places where insurance companies pick and choose zip codes. Where taxes, wind and hail deductibles, and repair costs crush whatever deal you thought you were getting. This isn't just a housing story. It's a survival story. Because what's happening in these Texas towns spreads like a drought line across a ranch map. Quiet at first, then everywhere. And if you think spending a bit more buys you safety, keep watching. There's a hidden fee waiting around the corner. It starts with H and ends with A, and they are not your friends. And in Texas, you might meet its sidekick too, the mud tax. Now, let's get into the 15 Texas towns where home prices are so low, you'll think it's a scam. Number 15, Mineral Wells, the spa town that never healed. Mineral Wells once bottled crazy water and sold miracle cures. Grand hotels hosted presidents and prize fighters. Today, the bones of that glory still stand. Beautiful, hulking, and expensive to maintain. The pitch is obvious. Small town feel, close to the Metroplex, outdoor recreation at Possum Kingdom. The problem is equally obvious. Aging housing stock, roofs that hate hail, and insurance that hates roofs. You can find listings that look like time capsules. Wood floors, big porches, price tags under a new F-150. Then you tour the attic and learn why. That bargain comes with a deductible the size of a used car, property taxes that never blink, and contractor wheel lists longer than the highway back to Fort Worth. Number 14, Corsicana. First oil, then silence. Corsicana invented Texas oil as a business. Then the business moved on. Downtown is photogenic, the fruitcakes are famous, and the warehouses stretch to the horizon. But the entry-level homes? They sit. Taxes nibble, insurance bites, and cap rate spreadsheets from faraway investors rarely account for the soft stuff, older plumbing, shifting soils, and tenant base stretched thin by utility bills and car payments. It's the kind of town where you can buy a little brick house for the cost of a luxury vacation, and then watch your cash flow property turn into your second job. Number 13, Palestine, the rail town caught in slow motion. Palestine streets rise and fall like old railroad grades, because that's what they are. The Victorian charm is real. So are the costs. Gentle hills become foundation crack factories, and 100-year-old trees drop limbs the size of canoes when spring storms roll through. There are deals here. 3 beds, a yard, a porch you can actually sit on. But there's also a learning curve. You don't buy move-in ready, you buy move-in and get to work. If you're not prepared to love an old house back to health, the house will win. Number 12, Nacogdoches, college town discounts with country house problems. SFA students come and go, houses stay behind. That turnover keeps prices low, but maintenance relentless. One month you've got a sweet little rental walking distance to campus, the next month you're a flooring installer. The best blocks of Nacogdoches are gorgeous. Shade, sidewalks, history. Still, the low sticker prices hide recurring expenses. HVAC units that gasp in August, roofs that remember every storm, and property tax bills that don't care that you only occupy it during football season. Number 11, Kingsville, Navy jets and empty driveways. NAS Kingsville's flight path is the city's heartbeat, steady when training cycles are full, shallow when they're not.
The housing market follows. Quaint brick homes at suspiciously low prices pop up frequently, each with the same story. The family transferred, the landlord burned out, the AC died. 10 minutes from the Gulf, but far from the glamour, Kingsville is where a cheap house looks more like a maintenance contract with a porch. Number 10. Alice. When oilfield trucks stop, prices drop. Alice is oilfield country, the kind of place where the diner's busy or barren depending on the rig count. Houses are cheap because volatility is expensive. One year everyone's hiring, the next everyone's renting out spare bedrooms. The houses you'll see for a song often share the same Achilles heel: deferred everything. Roofs that needed replacing 2 booms ago, wiring that predates your favorite classic rock album, and fences tilting at the same angle as the local economy. Number 9. Del Rio. The lake is beautiful until it isn't. Del Rio sells the dream of Lake Amistad: blue water, big sky, quiet evenings. Then West Texas reminds you who's boss: drought, heat, and water lines that move like shorebirds. Lakeside prices can look like misprints until you realize docks sit on dirt and stucco cracks like desert earth. Add the realities of a border economy, federal cycles, cross-border commerce, swings, and you get a market that can't decide whether it's a resort town or a government town. Buyers think they're getting both. Some days, you get neither. Number 8. Eagle Pass. Boom, bust, repeat. Eagle Pass lives on trade. When the bridge is humming, restaurants are full. When policies change, everyone counts coins. You'll find houses priced like the 2000s never ended. Some solid, some bring a flashlight and a respirator. The danger here isn't a scammer, it's optimism. People buy imagining steady demand, then learn how quickly the tide can go out. Insurance for wind and hail feels less optional after spring, and property taxes don't retreat when the freight slows. Number 7. Texarkana. 2 states, 1 bargain bin. Texarkana wears 2 hats and pays for both. Straddling a line means twice the bureaucracy and half the momentum. Manufacturing ebbs and flows, and so do the housing prospects. The houses that show up with suspiciously low tags tend to share a family resemblance: 1950s floor plans, 1970s additions, and 2020s roof claims. You can buy a 3-bed on a tree-lined street for less than a year in a big city apartment, but you'll inherit the tree, the street, and whatever the last 4 owners they didn't want to fix. Number 6. Wichita Falls. Priced like 1999. Shepherd Air Force Base keeps the economy breathing, but not sprinting. Wichita Falls is the textbook example of cheap doesn't mean easy. Hailstones here don't just tap, they audition for the major leagues. Insurers know it, so do roofers. That house for less than your truck might need a new roof before you finish paperwork. The yards are big, the garage is honest, and the price per square foot makes spreadsheets sing, until you add premiums, deductibles, and a surprise slab leak. Number 5. Plainview. When water leaves, wealth follows. Plainview sits over the Ogallala, less of it every year. The farms work harder to pull what used to flow. When a big employer blinks, everyone feels it. The housing supply looks abundant because it is. The demand looks thin because it is. Homes often come with space, big lots, alleys, room to breathe, and with surprises beneath the grass: settling, aging lines, tired shingles. If you buy here, you're not just purchasing wood and brick. You're betting on a future where water and work stick around. Number 4. Berger. Refinery skyline, refinery headaches. The stacks never sleep, and neither do the costs of living near them. Berger has pride and paychecks, but both fluctuate. The good news is simple: you can buy a house outright without selling your guitar collection. The bad news is just as simple: you'll probably need that guitar to pay for the next insurance renewal. Wind, hail, and industrial life are hard on roofs, windows, and nerves. Investors see cap rates. Locals see tarps.
Number 3. Big Spring. The boomtown that never quite booms. Big Spring is perpetually on the verge. Oil flares bright, then dim. The prison hires, then freezes. Through it all, the houses remain affordable, sometimes shockingly so. The catch appears during ownership. Summer electric bills that make you light switch religious, dry heat that eats caulk, and a maintenance rhythm that sounds like a snare drum. Newcomers imagine flipping. Many end up learning how to sweat solder copper. Number 2.
Port Arthur, refinery capital that can't catch a break. Port Arthur stands where Texas meets the Gulf and where the Gulf takes its cut. Hurricanes don't need a direct hit to remake a neighborhood here. Flood maps redraw futures. Insurance redlines wallets. You'll see houses priced at numbers that feel like typos. Then learn the history etched in baseboards, watermarks, lifted tiles, and that smell no listing can hide. It's not a scam. It's the arithmetic of risk. Some people make it work. Elevate, reinforce, stay ready. Many sell, move inland, and let the next optimist try. Number 1. Harlingen, the bargain capital of Texas. If you want the postcard, cheap Texas house, Harlingen is where the postcards are printed. Warm winters, palm trees, and price tags that make Californians blink. The issue is the fine print. Wages that run behind costs, old roofs that have seen more storms than most people, and insurance math that doesn't care about your retirement plan. Houses here really do sell for less than luxury cars, but ownership isn't just the closing price. It's the roof, the AC, the sewer line, the taxes, the wind deductible, and the endless list of little things that turn bargain into budget squeeze. The bigger picture, paradise priced to move. These 15 towns aren't anomalies, they're warnings, a canary in Texas's coal mine. What's driving the too cheap phenomenon? Insurance reality. Wind and hail own North Texas Spring. The coast belongs to hurricanes. Insurers respond with higher premiums, bigger deductibles, and more exclusions. Some zip codes feel radioactive to underwriters. If you can insure it, it may still feel like paying rent on something you supposedly own. Property tax gravity. Texas doesn't tax income, it taxes land. Cheap houses still carry heavy annual bills. In some of these towns, your yearly tax plus insurance approaches what a mortgage used to be. Aging stock plus expensive labor. The cheapest homes tend to be the oldest. Old roofs, old pipes, old wiring. Contractors are busy statewide, which means small towns wait longer and pay more. Boom-bust employers. Bases, refineries, rigs and rail yards cut both ways. When they're humming, housing tightens. When they slow, inventory piles up. Forever towns start to feel temporary. HOA and MUD fine print. Even in small markets, some subdivisions carry HOA dues and MUD taxes that surprise out-of-towners. That $89,000 steal comes with bylaws and bills. The human cost. Not statistics, stories. It's easy to talk in averages until you meet the people behind the porch lights. The retiree who thought South Texas sunshine would stretch a fixed income, then lost a roof to hail and a savings account to the deductible. The young family in the Panhandle who traded rent for a mortgage, then discovered the foundation moves more than their toddler. The refinery worker who bought during overtime and tried to sell during layoffs. Cheap brings hope. Ownership brings reality. The playbook you're not told. No, this isn't a gotcha from overseas scammers. It's a system that rewards volume and punishes nuance. Developers and distant landlords buy low, patch cheap, list pretty, and move on. Banks and insurers redraw risk lines that no new paint can cross. HOAs promise order, then invoice. MUDs fund infrastructure with decades of interest. Cities and counties chase growth with incentives, then send the bill to whoever stayed. It's not illegal, it's just how the machine turns.
Should you buy anyway? If you're outside Texas, don't feel safe. Similar patterns exist in Louisiana's coast, Oklahoma's Hail Belt, and New Mexico's water-stressed towns. If you're ready to buy in one of these Texas markets, pause and do the math like a pessimist. Price is the appetizer, carrying cost is the entree. Add taxes, insurance, utilities, and a surprise fund for the first year that equals 10 to 15% of the purchase price. Roof, HVAC, foundation, pick 2 to replace in the next 5 years. If you're lucky, you'll only pay for 1. Call 3 insurers before you tour a single house. If they won't write it, you don't want it. Read the HOA and MUD docs. These rise, rules bite. Interview the town, not just the agent. Librarians, roofers, school admins, and line workers will tell you what spreadsheets won't. Final word, the deals are real. The costs are too. Texas was supposed to be different. Room to breathe, space to build, and prices that made sense. Instead, some corners turned into laboratories for a new kind of affordable. Cheap to buy, costly to keep. The houses selling for less than cars aren't scams. They're tombstones and time capsules. Both, marking where a certain idea of Texas still lives and where another one already died. The question isn't whether these low prices are real. They are. The question is whether you're seeing the whole bill. In the Lone Star State, the sticker might hook you. The storm, the sun, the soil, and the fine print do the rest. If you found this eye-opening and you want more deep dives into America's two cheap markets, subscribe, hit the bell, share this with the friend who keeps texting you listings that look too good to be true. Because sometimes they are. And sometimes they're just Texas. Priced to move, priced to test you, and priced exactly where the market thinks the future's headed.